What's up everybody, welcome to John's Daily Hustle. So in today's video we're going to talk about how to start a lawn care business. It's part of my series. You guys check out more videos there. I have lots of good information for y'all. But today I'm going to talk about some advice, tips, and tricks that a lot of guys have told me when I got started, and as well as just some advice that I learned along the way. So let's jump into it. So one of the most important things that a lot of guys have told me was don't sell yourself short. And that goes a long way. Basically that means, learn your worth, know your worth, and know what your prices should be. And don't undercut people because you're going to sell yourself short. Okay? You really don't want to undercut people because that's how you're not going to make money and you're going to pay for it in the long run. It's also really easy to do when you're just starting out and you're going to give bids on properties because you don't know exactly what you're looking for and you don't really know how long it's going to take. So that's kind of something that'll go with time, but after you've been, 6 months into your season, you should kind of have an idea on what it should cost. You know what I mean? You should really know what your costs are and what it's really going to take to do the job. So by that point, you shouldn't be selling yourself short at that point. And trust me, if you don't know your worth, there are customers that will take advantage of that. And they'll want you to do everything you possibly can for almost nothing. So definitely know your worth and don't sell yourself short. The next one is make sure you have insurance. You know these commercial mowers, they spin their blades really fast, but even the residential mowers like this spin their blades fast enough to throw a rock, and that's all it takes is a rock to throw through a window. And that window could be cheap, it could be $250, but most cases windows aren't cheap, and it's going to cost you $500+ to have it fixed. If you're mowing at your commercial property, that can mean that you're putting yourself out of business to pay for their window being fixed. That means you're going to have to sell your equipment to fix it, and well, it'd just been easier if you paid that extra $100 or $200 a month, whatever it may be, to have insurance. I do recommend getting one of these chute blockers for everybody in the commercial business, but that will not always stop stuff from flying out on either side of the mower. And just know, if something's broken or if something gets broke, you're going to be blamed for it. The lawn care guys are always going to get blamed for it. A rock going through the window or a rock scratched my car or busted out my headlight. Lawn care guys are always going to get the blame for that. Just another good tip you should always walk around the property and take pictures or record to where you can prove that, hey, this wasn't me, and that kind of thing. But you should also be honest. If you did it, own up to it. But again, make sure you have insurance. So the next tip's another pretty big one that you'll save a lot of money is know how to fix stuff or learn how to fix things. Or be best friends with a mechanic. Actually, a guy out here I know that takes his mower to the shop to get it oil changed. He pays shops to change the oil. Now, it's a tax write-off at the end of the year, but I'd rather spend that money elsewhere. And to change the oil on it literally takes you an hour or less. And that's going slow. So learn how to fix it yourself. As you guys know, I've had nothing but problems with this mower from the very get-go. You can check that video out. So I'm definitely not a mechanic, but I have some mechanic skills anyway, I guess you can say. I just force myself to learn how to fix it, and that's what I do on that mower, and that's what I do on other project mowers and stuff I have in here. I just force myself to learn how to fix it. Like the 2 weed eaters that I got for free, I figured out how to fix them and make them run, and I saved money on an extra weed eater there, you know what I mean? So definitely learn how to fix stuff. Now there is some things that I will not personally do, like changing the hydro oil on this. I'm sure some guys are like, oh, that's super easy. Well, me, I don't really want to mess that up because I don't want to pay the price of changing the hydro pumps out afterwards, because you know how finicky they can be. But stuff like changing your oil, and especially sharpening blades. If you can't sharpen blades, go to Harbor Freight and buy a $12 grinder and plug that baby in and grind them and sharpen them yourself. I know a lot of guys pay $6 a blade to have them sharpened, sometimes more, maybe sometimes a little less. But you should just learn how to fix things yourself, and you'll save yourself a lot of money in the long run and a lot of headache, because you'll be able to do it at your own leisure, at your own time, and you don't have to drop your mower off. And it sits at the shop for 2 weeks before it gets fixed. So learn how to fix things yourself. Even if that means you go on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and you buy a cheap non-running mower and learn how to make it work. Learn how to fix it. That's actually what I did. You can check that video out on a free mower I got, and it gives you a little bit of experience. I definitely recommend doing that. So another little tip is learn when to say no to a job. What I mean by that is, instead of a customer asking, hey, do you do this, do you do this, do you do this, instead of saying yes to every job, even though you might not actually know how to do it, you may not actually offer it, you need to know how to do specific jobs well before you start venturing out doing other things. If you're still struggling with getting pricing down on mowing and getting the right mowing setup, don't go offering 5-star, tree trimmings and tree removals and and doing fancy little brush cutting stuff, or trimming bushes and doing the fancy little designs in it like Edward Scissorhands and stuff like that. Don't go crazy like that. Just stick to one niche. If it's grass mowing, get that down good before you do other stuff and start venturing into other stuff. That'll save you a lot of headache. And especially if you don't have the setup to, you don't have a big size truck to do a 10,000 square foot mulch job, or, some off the wall job like that you said yes to, and now you're realizing that it's biting you in the butt because one, you either didn't know how to do it, or two, you don't have the equipment to do it. So now you have to backtrack, or you have to suck it up and eat that cost. So just learn to say no and know where your limit is. Know where your comfort zone is. If you don't know how to do landscaping jobs, don't offer landscaping jobs. Don't say you can do landscaping jobs, because that'll definitely come back and bite you in the butt there too, for sure. The last ones I have for you guys is know how to communicate. And I mean, that's just a tip for life, but definitely a big tip in the lawn care business. You need to know how to communicate with employees, and you need to know how to communicate with customers. If you're sick and you can't go out and work, you need to know how to be able to communicate that with your customers. Or you might not mow in the rain. You need to be able to communicate that with your customers. You can't just not text them and they're expecting their service every Monday. Well, because we had a tornado for 3 days straight. You need to be able to explain why you're not there, that kind of thing. Or maybe even your equipment breaks down and you're out of a mower for a day or two and you fall behind, but they're expecting you there every Monday. You need to be able to communicate with them that, hey, my mower broke down. I'm going to be a day or two behind. I hope, I apologize. I hope this is okay, that kind of thing. And then with your employees, you need to be able to communicate with them on what they're doing, what they need to do, what they should be doing, that kind of thing. You can't just throw them the keys and say, hey, go get it done. You need to be able to communicate, and that's the big word I keep saying, is communicate. You guys can put in the comments how many times I said that word, but communication's a big thing. So if any of you guys watching this have any other tips or advice that I didn't say, please comment it below so other people can see it. Because, hey, I need to see it too. I'm always open for more advice and more tips. When I got started, I would walk up to other lawn care providers. If I was talking to them, whether it was me buying equipment or I just seen them out in public, I would ask them, like, hey, look, I just got started. Do you have advice for me? And then that's kind of stuff that I've learned through them, as well as just being in it for a year and having the experience, things that I learned that works well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it helps someone out and it will give somebody maybe some advice or some tips that they didn't know. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and thanks for watching.